He said, where are you guys off to? I said, oh, we're heading back to the unit. And Taylor went, well, Will's not. He's just driven down the A1.
Hello. Welcome back to the 18th Cream podcast. Again, we just keep on going with
They
this
keep coming.
thing. But again, at the beginning of every one of these podcasts, we ask if cars rule everything around me, you, us, they, or not. Or ruin. That's the other word. The opposite of rule. So, do you know what? I'm kicking this off with Ben.
Oh, here we go, Ben.
Because there's been a recent addition.
Sorry, can we just do you're Will, I'm Edwin, and Ben behind the camera?
Hello.
Lovely, thank you. Off over to you, Ben. Is it rule or ruin?
Oh, it's ruin.
Oh, what's that?
Why is that? Well, my X5 is very high up, and I'm very confused
He's
as
a
to
very
why.
tall guy.
Yeah, well, it has a suspension issue, level sensor, so he just doesn't know
Now,
how high to be.
out of interest, was the suspension issue there when you bought it from the previous owner?
Oh, yes.
Oh, it was.
How long have I had the car for?
Did the previous owner tell you about that issue?
He did, but
he did.
I think he was a bit shady with it.
Oh.
He actually has a part number he needs to give me, but keeps putting off doing it.
Sorry. It's very, very simple part number to find. And Ben's like,
And sorry, why am I changing?
Can you search it
just out of
for
interest,
me?
why am I changing the sensor again?
because it's faulty.
Is it because it already had a broken one and you replaced it with the wrong part?
Exactly.
Which you researched yourself. So how easy is it to find?
To be clear,
Not easy, mate.
if this is your first Cream podcast, Ben bought the car off of Will.
Yes, I
so
did.
hence why there is a bit of infighting going on.
No,
But
Now
it's
your
fine.
car, it looks idiotic.
Well, basically what's happened is I've had that car for 3 months. I've done 6,000 miles on it with this issue the whole time. And I thought after a while, he's going to get upset eventually. But basically, it just doesn't know what height to be at.
you know, what? It looks
and-
like a car from Drag Racer V3.
It has been very low on one side, which is where the sensor is. And then last night I went to Tesco's and I walked out Tesco and I thought, that looks a bit odd. And now it is at max height on the rear. It looks ridiculous. Looks like the chassis is coming off of the wheels.
Someone's been playing with the tuning sliders.
Yeah, so
Someone fitted race suspension to it on Forza and went, you know what? Jack up the rear.
Lower the front, jack up the rear. We're drag racing
It made
boys.
the 0 to 60 go down. So he was like, yeah, run with it.
it's a really weird drive. Because I noticed it last night on the way to Tesco's, but I think didn't look at the car, where for some reason my seat felt weird. I was just driving, I was like, this just feels different to normal. It turns out the rear is like 4 inches higher than it should be.
You're just rear-wheel drive currently.
Yep.
And it's now like raked forwards.
It-
So you should be able to get a nice skid going.
That is, you are drifting.
It's
Little
quite nice.
lift off, get the weight going. You should be good.
Is it a rule or a ruin?
Oh, it's
You
a
said-
ruin.
You said
a
so.
ruin
It's a ruin.
because now I have. Before it was just I had a little thing on my dashboard, a little bit low on one side, fine. Now I just have a car that is a bit odd to drive.
Do you struggle to get can you get up into it at that height?
Oh no, I'm very short. Well, I mean, you should know because you're shorter than me.
Oh
Sure.
god, there is a constant fight between Ben and Will about who is shorter, and they just have refused to ever measure each other so that the joke may continue.
I have to give Ben a little leg up to get into the
Yeah,
X5.
exactly.
That's fine.
Because both of these guys, the joke is both been away over Christmas helping Father Christmas make presents.
The X5 isn't very happy. I need to fix it, but no one will send me the part number, so I guess I'll just have a higher car at the back.
I mean, also crazy. Imagine doing that, being like, I'm not going to do the research. I can't find it. I'm just going to wait until someone does it. Just asking random people in the street, mate, have you got that part number I need?
Well, it's because Will offered, and I called him last week when you.
But sorry, have you done anything to go out of your way to search for it?
No.
Have you even just gone on Google?
Why
and
would I
gone-
do that?
Even if you typed the word sensor into Google, you would at least
I
start
don't know
down
what it
some rabbit
is.
hole.
Also, like, you have the
It is
information.
a rear level sensor,
But-
rear right level sensor for a BMW X5 E53 generation. Your car in particular is a 2005.
And I know all those details. My thing is,
Well,
Can someone in the comments do it?
you have
No. Let the boy learn.
you have the information. Just
Whoever's-
send me a number.
No, don't.
You sent it to me before. I've
Right,
lost
no
the
one
message.
sends Ben. I'm not sending it.
No
one in
one's
the
sending
comments
it.
sends it. Ben must find the sensor.
I'm not
But-
doing it.
You know what?
Ben's going to fit like an IKEA chair instead.
Do you know where you can find it? Just right at the end of the first 3 Fast and Furiouses. Once you've watched those, you'll find the number.
If I watch
Do
the
you know
first
what?
Fast and Furious, will you do it for me?
Do you want to? No. Oh, actually, yes, but only if you give a full review of the film
Okay.
afterwards.
And you
want a
have to
hint?
fit it as well.
No, thanks. Do you want a hint?
Yep.
Go to Real OEM.
the best site in the world.
Now, that will help you,
Does this really
but
exist?
also
No.
not help you.
Can you go to BMW Wheel Styles and then and click click on a random wheel style and just keep scrolling photos.
Just see what comes out.
For those of you that know, you know.
Oh, this is a great UI. There we go.
That's the one, Ben.
Yeah, but
Ben,
that's what
also,
you want is function.
Ben, we were on a podcast and you're scrolling on your phone. This doesn't work, right? For the
Some
listeners.
people watch on YouTube.
Great.
And you can watch on Spotify and video, you didn't know.
Yeah.
So,
You can.
overall, it's a ruin for Ben.
Yes. it is.
But self-inflicted. William?
I'm just going to go with rule because nothing's really changed. There is a slight element of ruin because the Clio is still outside and I haven't touched it. Another element of ruin because I've had someone offer me a cool car this week and that's miles away and has lots of bits with it, but I'm not sure it can happen. But I think overall, rule.
We're not going to talk about that car until it maybe happens?
I don't want to say too much.
Yeah.
I don't want to let anyone else get the jump.
Until there is a yes or no on the deal.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It is, for me, ruin.
Ooh.
Because...
Why this?
Because of what's behind us.
Ah, of course.
So... I mentioned a few podcasts before. My girlfriend's been looking for a Fiat 500 Bath. It had to be black. Lots of you messaged, but it's very specific. It has to be specific. And she said, I've got a budget of like 3.5, 4 grand. Can you find one? And she got bored because we went and looked at multiple and they were all dodgy. They were all like, they had been written off and they hadn't declared it until we ran a check and that sort of stuff. So I said to her, there's one coming up at Copart soon. And she said, look, that's for you to do.
She said, whoa.
Yeah, she
stop,
wait. And I bought it. I said, what do you want to pay up to on this? She said, 1,500, I guess. So no idea what a car is worth on Copart. And I just said, give me a number and I'll bid to it. And we did.
4 grand?
And we won it for 1,400 quid and it is behind us. And all that it was in the ad is they said someone smashed the window and broke the ignition lock. It's an attempted theft car or a stolen recovered is what they call it. It arrived here on Saturday. I've never been inside such a dirty car in my life.
I am now due an illness.
It's actually crazy how disgusting the inside of this car is. So we've just spent the whole of today cleaning it out just to make it safe enough to even touch now. So I'm a little worried. Also, they've bent the door to get in, so I've bought a new door.
I was just thinking about that. That this just entered my mind now. That they smashed and bent the passenger door.
Yes. So if I don't know if it was parked up against something or because they put something in the top of the door frame and then pulled it back, which I think is what smashed the window. Yeah. And then I assume the alarm went off, so they were like, "Well, we've got to be quick now." Jumped in, broke the ignition lock. Yeah. I don't think they anything they got far. I don't think they got anywhere in it. So yeah. So now I have to. We've pulled the whole interior out today. I'm going to replace it with some cloth after this podcast finishes. I'm going to go and get in the car and go and buy some cloth interior because it had leathers and that can't run for her. So yeah, it's ruined because it's worse by a good margin than I expected.
But if you can fix the major issue, there's hope.
Oh, absolutely. There's still going to be, it's still going to be a very cheap car and I've got some plans to make it look nice. It's going to look good in the end. Ben is looking smug behind the camera. He's found the part number.
And I found on Amazon. On Prime delivery next day, and it's a Chinese part.
Okay,
good luck with that.
I'd like to put money on the fact that is not the correct part.
Yeah, can I just see it from a distance?
It's correct.
The viewers don't need to see this.
This is such a stupid thing to be doing on a podcast that people are listening to in the car.
I mean, it looks correct, but it also looks like the one I fitted, which was wrong. There are very minor differences. We will speak. See me after the podcast.
See me after the podcast.
Okay, cool. So that's our week. As always, let us know your rule or ruins in the comments. You can leave your comments on YouTube where you're watching this, or Spotify. You can watch us and listen to us on there if you're in the car, perhaps. William, do we have some news this week?
We do. Ben has put a piece of news in here. I'd like to, because I think you're happy about it, I would like to contest you on this news.
You're not happy about this?
Please announce this news. It's about Volvo.
Can you say it how you wrote it in our document?
Yes. Volvo is making square boys again.
Great.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. So I haven't.
There were spy shots from Nürburgring of Volvo testing what are a new saloon and a new estate, but they're like 740 spec where they're just square.
Interesting.
Imagine, the new, what are they called? Is it Kia or Hyundai? One of them that makes those really futuristic looking ones.
Yeah, okay.
It's like those sorts of headlights, like sort of
Hyundai.
Sort of retro looking ones. Yeah, but in square. Yeah. Oh, cool.
You know what? Ben's a great describer. His descriptors are great. Imagine like a square boy.
Imagine like a square.
Imagine
90-degree angles.
Is it a Hyundai or a Kia?
I'm fairly sure it's the Hyundai.
Okay, imagine a Hyundai, but he is square.
Great. This is you know what?
That's everyone in the car right now went, ah.
Everyone went, What?
What the hell is he
What do you
talking
mean by
about?
that? Is that just any car but square? Anyway,
Okay.
my beef
Okay.
with this is that there'll be lots of people going, wow, look at this return of Volvo being boxy. It looks the same as the Jag thing.
Oh, see, that's what I was going to ask, because in my head, when you said the square thing, I can see that Jag shape, that square thing. It looks like that.
Jag did it, and everyone went, ah, you stupid idiot. Who designed that? And then Volvo do it, and you go, that's actually all right, actually.
But it wasn't that the Jag has a sloping back. But
Yeah,
this
it's
is
a
just
bit
like
more
a square.
like, but this is sort of, I don't know.
No?
I don't know.
The thing is,
Maybe it's a new era of design I'm not on board with.
I like a lot the last generation of Volvo wagons. Is it V90?
V90 is one of the best looking
That is a
regular
sick
cars.
looking thing.
Yeah, bit policey.
Yeah, but
still.
like just cool. Just a really cool car. They every time I see them on the road, I'm like, I could make you look good.
It's just nice.
Loads and a bit of space. My belief is that a testament of true like good car design is that the only thing to make it look perfect is loads and spaces. Like even the standard wheels. Usually I'm not a standard OEM wheel person, but even what is it? R design, whatever the top spec V90. That was a little bit lower with some spaces. That is perfection.
Yeah,
lovely.
Nice. It's just because they haven't added angles and random. No. Well, you know what? I think we'll stick massive grills. I mean, the grills aren't small, but I mean,
there's nothing that needs. It's classic Volvo. Yeah. We're not going to put anything on there that doesn't need to be there. Yeah. It's just a smooth, nice design.
It looks like a villain's car from a movie. The black saloon, which we'll put on the screen now, that looks like a baddie's car from an animated movie.
Oh, all right, mate.
That's the Chinese knockoff Rolls Royce.
That is a child that has drawn that car. It looks like AI.
That saloon is rough.
I like that very much.
No, I like saloons, but that rear door going into that rear roof shape isn't right.
Which is exactly what I get wrong when I draw a car.
Yeah.
I draw the shape of the car. That's easy.
The front's
and then
nice.
where the door has to go. Where does the door go? That's what's happened there.
Why does the door touch the rear wheel, but the roof goes behind it?
If you open the door on my drawing, there'd be nothing.
The roof falls off.
You just see the wheel.
You see, I think the estate looks more Jag spec than the other one.
The estate is moderate. It's coming like a Stagia or a
Stagia. But surely the thing that's doing that, making it look Jag spec, is the lights, because they look like the same lights. You know what? Do you know what? I'm going to say something though. The rear of the wagon. That's an Evo 9 wagon right there.
Yeah, I was thinking. Also, it looks quite similar to the lights they have on like the new, the previous gen of the Volvo. I
don't know what it is. There are some Volvos. I remember seeing semi-recently. People in the comments can comment the name of it. EX30. It's the minivan Volvo.
I remember you showing me this.
I don't know what it is. I couldn't care less about a minivan. I mean, it is simply not a car I would ever care about in any way, shape, or form. But I saw the reveal photos. Thought, that looks cool. And then saw the interior. God, I would rock one of those.
So I wasn't interested. Then you showed me the interior. And I was like, you know what?
Vito spec.
I don't know how I'd be in the back of my own car.
But
an EM90.
EM90, that's it. Go look that up. That is a sick thing. And I don't think we get them in the UK. I think they're only Europe. I might be wrong. But that, you know what? Volvo's, because what was the Polestar? They're technically not the same. I know Polestar and Volvo, but they are.
I think I don't like the new ones.
No, but what's the convertible thing?
Oh, the Polestar Roadster thing.
The Roadster. We saw it at Goodwood. Remember? It's a concept. But God, that's whoever's designing them gets it.
Polestar I really liked, and then I saw one of like the newer ones, and they've just gone in. Hey, let's make this square
Tesla
and look like a Tesla or a Chinese whatever.
That's the thing I don't like about electric car stuff. I guess it comes from Tesla. I was thinking about this the other day. When they started, they had to go, we need like a strong brand, so every car needs to look the same, so that you subconsciously go, I know what a Tesla looks like. But like Polestars, the 2? So the 2 is the normal one that you see a lot, and now the 3 perhaps.
And there's a 4 as well.
Oh, maybe it's the 4. They've just gone, okay, take the 2, but stretch the boot up a bit.
Yeah.
Now stretch the roof down. It's the same car.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Volvo and Polestar design, what I like about it is it's minimalism, but it's like nice minimalism. Tesla minimalism is empty everything and put the bare essentials in. Whereas like Polestar is like, let's just make, why isn't that just not a bit of wood? And that's just a nice little...
What is it? Minimalism is a con sold by big small to sell more big?
More less.
Something like that.
Sell more less.
Very confused. But I don't like the saloon. The estate looks good. A child drew the saloon.
Yeah, I can hear that. Now that I've actually had an up close look, that's... Something ain't right.
You know what? We'll have a look when it comes out. Volvo, mate, send it over. We'll do a little review.
But aren't most
of the
old
looks.
Volvo saloons just square like that?
No, but they at least have. There's like a sharp angle, whereas it's too rounded on that corner, on that edge. It's the reason why 36 to me, E36 Saloon is the best shape, or an Evo 5. Like look at the way that the proportions. Will has got his Tamiya. Is it Tamiya?
Tamiya.
Tamiya Evo 5 rally car here. Have a look. Look at the proportions of that guy. You have a chunk of the bonnet at the front, a section of doors, and then a stubby boot at the back with the angle kind of looking similar. I know nothing about car design. I'm sure there's a word of or a reason for it. But the way that shape of that is, that's car.com. That's saloon.com.
Maybe they're just like cutting costs and they just looked at a child and went, yeah, maybe they can design cars.
Maybe we can hire them.
I'll send you my designs.
But either way, good job. Bring them back. Send them back.
Also, good job just not making everything look exactly the same as everything else. At least you'd see that and go, I understand that.
I know it, yeah.
Or joke. The only other piece of news I've written down is about an Austrian tuning company has fitted a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 into a new C63. So, confirming that it fits.
Because they claimed the reason it wouldn't work is
I think it was mainly like emission stuff and it's whatever, but obviously, so they can fit it in there. I don't know how, like, it's a tuning company, so I'm assuming they've done a fairly good job.
Because they still sell that 4-litre V8
that's in other things.
In other things, right? So it's not like they couldn't get it past emissions.
Yeah.
So, Mercedes, so we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah. Wait, it's 600 and something horsepower, everyone.
I simply do not care.
I don't care. Does it have a V8 in it?
Yeah.
Cool. Then I'll buy it.
Sorry, it seems you've put half the V8 in there. I don't care.
I'd be very interested to know what the sales number. I just don't think I've seen one.
Yeah,
it might be because I don't understand Mercedes, and when I see a Mercedes, I go Mercedes.
Yeah, that's
possible.
A
Mercedes.
If you work in a Mercedes dealership or high up at Mercedes, not even from an aspect of like to laugh at you.
Yeah.
I just want to know.
Yeah,
like because I thought the same thing when the F80. No, how do I still mix these up? The pig nose M4
G80.
G80. You don't mind them now. I still hate them. But when they came out, I was like, they're not going to sell. You're not going to see them. They're everywhere.
They're just everywhere.
They have sold.
Yeah.
They've sold well. But I would like to know if you work at Merck or you know AMG, I guess you work at. What are the year-on-year or month-on-month sales looking like of the 4-cylinder AMG C63 versus the last gen? If you know, because that would be interesting to see.
I just don't see any new Mercedes that are like any new AMG cars. I think I've only ever seen one or two new A45Ss. I haven't seen a new SL63 yet.
I have seen one of those.
I saw one of the GT63 4-door things. Haven't seen a facelift one of those. I feel like, are they just not selling them? What's going on?
Well, I wonder. I think it's market to market. Like, I think their hold in America is going to be much higher than it is here. Like, England is we're BMW gang. When it comes to like performance cars, I think M cars outsell the AMG. Not like A45s, obviously. There's bread and butter hatchbacks.
Oh, BMW have that now.
Yeah, but then what?
What is it?
135i.
It's now like it's like a Golf R.
Yeah.
A35 really spec.
135i is that? Is back to 135?
Or is it? It's a 140, I think, isn't it?
Is it? I hate them. I just hate them. They're so ugly.
Yeah, I think again, if it wasn't the BMW, I might
exactly.
take it.
Yeah, the Mini, I'm okay with.
Yeah,
Mini's kind of cool, but it is your sacrilege. You ain't him.
You're not that guy, pal.
You're not
that guy.
So short bit of news this week.
Yeah, short bit of news. I mean, again, there's other news, but we don't care about that news. I mean, we have news about what we've been doing. We have just been on an adventure.
Great.
Just yesterday. If you follow the YouTube channel, the Top Dead Center YouTube channel that we are on, you will have probably seen this, but we'll tell a little extra.
Yes.
A little detailed story of what happened yesterday. So we bought some 90s hot hatches, which are particularly, how you say?
Tinkered with.
A little bit scabby. Rough around the edges.
Yeah.
You know, they're not exactly, you know, prime examples.
You probably want to treat them with kid gloves, but we absolutely do not.
Someone else built them 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, we've done a full series on it, blah, 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 fixed, modified, fixed. And then we thought, you know what? Final video, we're going to a track, and then we're going to go to Southend. We're going to go Southend and see the lights, mate.
And you need to explain for non-UK viewers, why Southend?
Southend used to be. They do stuff there still. There is still meets there. So Southend is the sea. It is a British seafront.
And what do they call it? Southend on sea.
Yeah, it makes sense.
English town names?
I wouldn't quite call it on the sea.
I call it next to it.
I call it sort of near the sea.
I guess it's not in the sea, so I guess they are.
Southend in the sea. That is a problem. So Southend has like a beachfront. It's quite similar to a lot of places in the UK. You have beachfront, ice cream, old people, probably some litter, seagulls, some neon lights.
And a
2p machines.
And coin machines.
Yeah. So you got lots of that. And that's what Southend is. But it was because it's Essex way. And Essex was big on the old modified car scene. It was very, very popular for either a start or end point for cruises and people basically, because it's a strip.
Yeah.
There is a strip down the seafront and people racing up and down, police not happy, old people not happy. But we thought, you know what, we're going to go there. And it does look, at night,
it's kind of cool.
We did get there.
In the end.
How long did that take us?
Well, I explained it earlier when someone walked in. We were 40 minutes away from Southend-on-Sea at 1 p.m. We made it to the pier at 9:30 p.m.
That was nice.
So
was it traffic?
No, it wasn't.
None traffic.
It was the Corsa blowing up.
It was the Corsa blowing up. So we had a little plan where we wanted to, before we got to Southend, we thought, you know what, let's find some driving roads nearby. Did that. I saw the we weren't actually filming properly at the time. I saw National Speed Limit sign and I thought
he was coming.
It's time for a limiter bash.
Of course.
And I gave it the big limiter bash in the Corsa, and then I just heard steam came from my front left headlight, which was bizarre, and then just crap all over the windscreen. I turned the car off immediately.
Yeah.
Put it in neutral, just rolled to a stop behind you because you'd obviously seen it. And I thought, I was quite upset because I was like, if this is engine gone, I'll be very, very annoyed.
Yeah.
But yeah, opened the bonnet and coolant was absolutely everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was because that was an explosion on the limiter.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It had gone everywhere.
Ultimate pressure.
It was all outside, all on the outside of the car. The engine bay is covered. It's just a mess. So that car blew a heater matrix hose.
Yeah.
Which is basically what goes through the bulkhead and what basically gives you a heating in the car.
Yeah.
So
luckily it wasn't inside the car that it blew, but it blew
otherwise that
between the matrix and the block of the engine.
So when we saw that, we were like, okay, this is doable.
It's fixable.
We can fix this. But the problem with that is a Corsa from the 90s, but with a Saab engine in it.
Yeah.
So there are lots of parts that don't, you can't just go to your local Eurocar parts or wherever and say, have you got this part? It's either a custom bit or someone that, there's lots of parts on that car where it's a Corsa with a Saab engine and someone's fitted something from a Ford or a Mercedes. It's just a part that fits.
Yeah.
So this hose is bigger at one end than it was at the other. So we couldn't just get a hose.
Yeah, which is not common.
We went on just the biggest of quests. I'd love to say we wrote it.
Yeah, no, it would be great to script
we just
it.
didn't.
So long story short, in trying to fix the car, which was parked in a pub, you rented a set of pliers for £40.
Yep.
When we went to return it, we met a subscriber who I jokingly asked, do you have coolant pipes for a Saab swap Corsa? He offhandedly joked and went, no, I sell and work on MX-5s. And then my brain went, hold on, the heater core in an MX-5 is the same as the outlet on that Corsa. So I went, do you have parts? He went, yeah, come on in, have a look. Looked around his units, found offcuts of parts, and we went, there's nothing to reduce this. We'd need like something metal to reduce it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Viking music was playing throughout this industrial yard. We were like, what is that noise? He was like, oh, that's Michael. He's a welder. He's just around the corner. He just listens to Viking music at max volume. And we were like, a welder, you say? Walked in, introduced ourselves to him. He was understandably confused. I was also wearing an entire Burberry outfit because, of course, I am. He couldn't care less and went, "All right, I'll make you a reducer pipe."
Yeah.
So he spent a couple of hours while he was making it, bodged it together. It didn't work at first.
No,
I was upset
because it's 2 pieces of pipe going into a metal pipe. Again, all of it bodged together. Like not bodged, but it's bodged.
It's bodged. Yeah. The metal pipe wasn't. The welding was lovely.
Yeah, the welding was great. It was the pipe at either end that was the problem.
Yeah.
And then we started it. It ran, no leak, all good. And then it just started to seep out of both ends of where the rubber hose was. How did we cure that? I think.
Well, we didn't have any more Jubilees. So Jay, the videographer, and I, Ben was very luckily at home editing. So we had Jay, our other videographer, helping with us. So we let's say it was close to Screwfix closing, and it was, let's call it a 15-minute journey, and we had to be there in 10. Starlet did us right. If there was someone out in Essex last night, all they would have heard is just in the background.
Before we get to finishing that, Starlet did have a minor issue just after the Corsa.
He did.
Broke down.
The Corsa broke down. I don't think this is in the video because we weren't filming, but Will shut off the Corsa. We opened the bonnet, looked at it, went, okay, right. We said to Will, let it cool down for a second and then just turn it around and just drive it very quickly to the pub that's 100 metres up the road and park in the car park. So Jay and I blocked the road, let Will do that. We then got back in the Starlet. I turned the key and it went, a brum, and just died. And I was like, what? And Jay went, no. Like you could tell in his voice, he was like, no, not like this, please. And I said to him, I went, nah, this is the Starlet. You just, if you use it hard, he gets better. So I started it up and did a massive pull down the road. And as I got to the pub, I let off the throttle and it went, no. And just turned off. And I rolled it into the pub without any drive up to Will and went, we might have a problem here. Left it 5 minutes. He was fine.
Yeah, it was good.
He just got a little bit worried about his friend.
It's a much smaller problem than the Corsa had.
Yeah.
So Jubilee clips is what you went and got.
The Jubilees.
We put 5 Jubilee clips, 3 on one end, 2 on the other.
Yeah.
And started the car, filled it up with coolant, and it was fine.
Yeah.
It looked a bit sketchy. It moved around a lot.
It did.
But we thought if we can keep this under, 3 or 4
big pulls,
RPM, which is great because that gearbox means the gearbox in that car means it cruises at about 3,500 RPM on the motorway. So I was very, very careful. Also, possibly one of the hardest drives I've ever had. Because I've got Edwin in front of me going, wah, bah, 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 and smashing it off with it. I've got turbo noises and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I'll give you 1 PSI.
Yeah,
That's
I can
it.
do
It's one of the hardest. Every now and then I'd be like, you know what, maybe 1. But I know it would happen. I'd do that and I just see a pipe burst off. But we did that, fixed it. Seems to be all good. And then Michael, legend, and Matt as well, who helped us with the parts and everything. Also just being in the local area.
Yeah, if you are in Essex and you need any welding, please actually look up Michael. It's N&M Welding.
N&M Welding, yeah.
Because he dropped everything.
Yeah.
He literally, we were saying to Will, I don't know if hopefully it's in the video, that's car people.
Yeah.
That is because he works, he's a welder, but not for automotive stuff.
No, yeah.
But we got talking to him while he's there. He was like, yeah, old Mark 1 Golfs and stuff. I used to mess around with those.
Yeah.
Like, that's a car person.
Yeah.
You come with a problem and you go, look, I don't know you. We've never met before, but I've got an old 90s thing that needs bodging. And they go, absolutely, I got you.
I was deep in the engine bay with him, just in the trenches, really, with Michael. And then he said, he laughed and said, I'm a mechanic by trade. And I thought he was joking. He went, no, I am. He said, I weld. Welding is like my passion, but I as a work, I'm a mechanic. Suddenly I felt a little bit better about the situation. I was like, you know what?
Michael's going to get us home. Then Matt, the subscriber as well, he was like, so Matt was leaving to go and look at a car for sale to buy, saw us, saw that we needed help, cancelled this car that he was going to go look at. And then after 8 hours of us messing him around, stealing parts of him, he went, can I come with you to Southend in my Skyline? We were like, yeah, you can.
Yeah,
get in the Skyline.
We're going slowly.
Yeah, we're chilling. Yeah. He had a DR30 Skyline, a GT, I think it was a GTX turbo.
Yeah.
So the cool one, an iron mask. So we just had a 3-car cruise down to Southend, which is, it's the essence of cars. That's a good story. However, the best part happened on the way home.
Okay.
And I want to take some issue because you might remember a couple of podcasts ago, Will came at me for the amount of cars I owned. And now this week I'm coming at him for his sense of direction.
Here we go.
Will, perhaps, Ben can attest, Will perhaps has the worst sense of direction of any human I've ever met.
Okay, now I'll carry on, but I've got beef with Ben on this.
Of course you do.
I've got beef with Ben on this.
Your sense of direction.
Your passionate agreement there.
Your sense of direction is horrible. This unit we are currently sat in is not very far away from the unit we were in before. And we moved on one day and we drove back and forth about 4 times. And Will could not find the new unit after doing the drive 10 minutes before.
That's not true.
It is, though.
That's not true.
It just is, though.
Whenever we were leaving from, I can't remember where it was, we were maybe 10 or 15 minutes from here. And you, Billy Big Nuts, there in the back, were like, I can find my way home from here. Not to worry. I said, okay, fine. I know. I said, I can't. I'd use Waze or something. I didn't care. Did you get lost?
No,
did Edwin have to intervene?
No, hold on. I have to set it up because it's better than that. it's Ben. We're driving down this road, and Ben goes, "I could get us home for here." Short argument ensues, maybe 10 to 15 seconds. Will goes, "Well, I don't know where I'm going." I sit at the back. "I know how to get us home. So Ben, you're going to direct us from here. I'll tell you if you're right or wrong." And as that sentence ended, we're 200 meters from a junction, just a left and right junction. And Will pulls up at the junction and goes, "Right then, Ben, which way are we going?" And Ben confidently goes, "Left." And I go from the back, "No, it's right."
You got to crack a few eggs to make an omelette. I would have got his back, 100%.
Well, I don't think he would have.
We do it now at lunchtime. I say to Will, I go, "All right, well, we're going to Subway," and we go, "Oh, Will, take us there."
I
And he
can
can't
get
do
there.
it.
Jesus Christ!
Only
I have to do it a few times.
Well, so last night the way we set it out, Jay, our videographer, he lives up by Luton.
Yeah.
So we basically went in 3 cars to services on the M25, which if you're not from the UK, it was probably equivalent to probably hell. It's probably the best comparison. It's the worst road in the world. To drop his car off at the services, and then we'd go in 2 cars, the Starlet and the Corsa, up to Southend. We got back now at 10:30, probably coming up for 11.
Yeah.
Dropped Jay back off his car. He left. It's now just Will and I. But it's so late in the day, and Will doesn't have a charger in the Corsa, that Will's phone is dead.
Yep.
So we bought a charger and charged it in the Starlet. My phone, Will's phone, both in the Starlet. Will's got nothing in his car, but we do have radios. We've got walkie-talkies. So we leave the services, and at the first set of lights on the big roundabout under the services, it goes yellow as I'm going through, and Will's a little way behind.
Now, it's the first rule of convoys.
No, hold on.
I would say it was. I'd say it was late.
No.
I would have told the police about that.
I went through on green. It was still green when I went through it.
Nah. I calculated it.
Because I like to. I stand on business when it comes to convoys. I'm good about that. If it's looking like a semblance of yellow, if he's.
But you saw the yellow because you said to me you were sorry.
No, I was sorry because I should have seen how far behind you were. Because someone was slow in their course, they don't have any boost.
I can't drive fast,
and I was doing pulls. So anyway, I make it through the light, and Will does not. So I radio in and I go, "That's tough to see," and I get one back from Will going, "Yeah, that's tough." So I said to him, straight away, "Are you gonna be fine to make it onto the M25?" Now, bear in mind, this is a service. We're not in in Abu Dhabi with different there's not ridiculous letters. It's in English.
Yeah,
you can read. And I said, "Are you gonna make it onto the M25? You're gonna be fine." And Will went, "Yeah, I'll be fine." Oh, Taylor's next to me. At 11,
I was quite shocked.
11 at night, and I was like, "That's weird." Okay,
Yeah.
So I rung Taylor, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go take my trailer to go and pick up a car." And I said, "Oh," he said, where are you guys off to?" I said, "Oh, we're heading back to the unit." And Taylor went, "Well, Will's not. He's just driven down the A1."
I thought I might have to live here now.
And I genuinely, I can't say what I said, but I went, "Oh, for God's sake!" And he went, "Yeah, he's just gone on the wrong exit. He's gone onto the wrong bit."
No.
Here's the issue. I laughed and then went, "I have Will's phone." Will has no sat nav. Will has no way of understanding. Because let's be honest, if you're on a road that you've never been before, you're done.
Done for.
You're actually done.
Road signs are the bullshit.
So
they don't say what they mean.
Also, but this is the thing. The floor told you where to go.
Nah, where?
It said M25.
Yeah, but you can go both ways. And the only M25 sign I saw said Potter's Bar. Now, I know, or I'm fairly sure, that I had been past Potter's Bar on the way.
Correct.
I was like, that's the wrong way.
Yeah.
And there was no other M25 sign. And then I saw a sign that said Heathrow. I was like, Heathrow, that's what I want. I want that. I need, if I can get there, I'm roughly in the area where I need to be. And I started going down this road, and you said, "Can you get on the M25?" And I saw 3 lanes. I was still on 3 lanes for a while. I was like, "This just isn't the M25." And I got to a roundabout. I was like, "This is not the M25, is it?" So I thought best bet is to go back.
Yeah. So the moment I realised, I put the phone down with Taylor and picked up the radio and went, Will, can you hear me?" It was like a movie. I went, "Will, if you could hear me, go back to the services." So I raced up the M25 to the next junction, raced all the way back down to get to the services. Again, it was like a movie. I kept going, "Will, can you hear me? Will, are you there?" And then I heard, "Well, you."
Because I thought, you know what? If Edwin's lost me, he may go back to the services, because I was also going back to the services, but somehow I found that. And then I was maybe a minute or two in the services, and I just heard on my radio, Will, can you hear me? It was like some kind of survival movie where we've found a bunker and there's a radio where there's help. Help is coming. And I just got, Will, can you hear me? It's like, I can hear you. I can hear you.
So got back to the services and then went, right, let's stick to each other all the way back. Yeah. So, but somehow that little Corsa, despite all of, everything we put it through.
The most bodged pipe.
Sitting outside right now next to the Starlet. They're happy.
Yeah.
And
a couple of bits to...
They may.
By this point, yes. Next week.
Yeah, I think so. Basically, if not, the cars will be... You can win them.
Yeah.
You can win them for...
Both cars.
Both cars, we're going to... There'll be 2 winning tickets.
Yep.
You can buy 1 ticket. You can buy 1 billion. We always say this. I mean, genuinely mean this. We're doing this because we want someone to have it for the lowest possible entry.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you don't have to buy 1 billion tickets. So lots of people say, oh, well, there's it's pay to win. Yeah, you can buy more tickets if you want, but just buy 1. And if you happen to win it on the off chance for 15p, beat the ever loving shit out of those cars, please.
Also, for record, the people that we've met, every time there's a winner, we like to meet them and speak to them. It's just nice to see the person who's winning it. That they have always been a subscriber.
Yeah.
And most of the time, every single time, it's been
less than 10
or £15 maximum that they've spent. Maybe less than 10. I think one of them was like £9 or something.
Yeah, well, I think one of them was 5 tickets.
Yeah, so
at 15p. So
just insane.
Basically less than £1.
And again, as much as we would love to keep all these cars around, it doesn't make any sense because we want to move on to something else. We'll buy 2 more cars, do another series, and then yes, we may end up making another video on those, but they will just sit outside.
Yeah, we
gathering
learned it.
Dust. Whatever.
We learned it after the 335 and the S3 because at the end of that series, we both really liked them, and we were like, let's keep these and do a V2 and get quicker on them.
Yeah.
Those cars haven't been touched since the day we've done with drag racing because unfortunately the way the YouTube is, you can't sit and just go on a car. It's the reason that you haven't seen, if you're one of the YouTube subscribers, you haven't seen the Zafira yet.
Yeah.
Because that's one of a bigger project that we want to do, but everything is so hectic that it sits for a while because it takes us time to get to it, if that makes sense.
Also, right now, the way our schedule is, these cars are done, we want to do another video. The next available time that we have, a free slot that we haven't planned out, is like the middle of April. So you have 2 months until then, and then by that time, we've got something else that's happened, or we get offered an opportunity or whatever. So it just doesn't happen.
That being said, I really, really... I'm going to miss the Starlet. I'm actually going to be really sad.
Yeah, the Corsa is actually, I would say, the only car I do, because I don't really get that about cars, but the Corsa on this channel is the only one that I'm going to be very possibly annoyed when it goes.
I think that for me, it's the Starlet is actually going to be sadness because I don't know what it is. The fact that I know it's out there right now and I could go out in it and it would make the silliest noises on earth, and it's not mine, but it's mine in inverted commas. The fact that it will not be there anymore and someone else will have it, I'm going to be really upset. And I said to the guys at SSA when we got the Starlet tuned, I'm going to build a Starlet.
Yeah.
Because that's not my Starlet. There's another Starlet out there that's mine.
It's destined.
It is going to, that thing hates to see me coming.
Yeah.
It's going to go, no.
Yeah.
I was, yo, see the limiter, learn to like it.
See that little red bit on your dashboard?
That's where you're at.
You're going to be sitting there. But yeah, I mean, again, also a massive thank you to anyone who does buy a ticket or for previous ones or these ones. It all goes back into the channel. That's part of the reason why we've been able to buy. We spent almost £9,000 buying those hatchbacks. Something that 6 months, a year ago, we would not have been able to do. Basically.
Absolutely not. And it's,
so I'm not saying we're going to end up buying a Rolls Royce next week. It's not the case, but that Murcielago one day. It means we can make a bigger variety of cars on the channel.
Yeah.
But anyway,
thank you very much.
Yeah. So if you're a long-time listener of the podcast, first time caller, long-time listener, you may have noticed we've begun to rant about things,
and it's usually about the motorway.
It's usually about the motorway and probably just everyone. Yeah. Everyone else, really. We're perfect.
Yeah.
Everyone else is wrong.
Meanwhile, anyone that deals with us on the road, look at those idiots.
Stupid idiot. What's he making that noise for? But we got an email.
Yes. Would you like to read it?
We got an email from a salty man.
Now, here's the thing. in a way. Well, let me just read it.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it, and
Right.
Will, you're going to respond. The title of the email is "Fast Lane, Slow Lane,"
Here we go.
which is a great children's nursery rhyme. I feel like Dr. Seuss is about to start spitting bars. Hi, there is no fast lane,
Okay.
and that is on all caps, or slow lane. All lanes on the motorway are maximum of 70 miles an hour when there are no restrictions. Also, they are lane 1, 2, 3, or 4. Read the highway code, please. Tell Alex and his crew as well. Place, stop being dicks and start educating people. That's one of your jobs. Thanks. Sorry for the rant. Flow.
I don't think that's my job.
Yes, absolutely not.
No.
My job is making bullshit. And
It's perhaps to entertain,
Yeah,
not
it's-
necessarily
Look,
to educate.
if you hand me a 2.25 inch aluminum pipe, I'll make a flutter out of it.
yeah.
Do not hand me the highway code.
I think the whole point is that you're here to entertain, and if you learn something, that's great. But
Yeah.
most of the time, you probably won't.
So, William,
That-
you feel quite passionate about
The
this.
email grated on me for a while, and it wasn't until I rented a van. I rented a
Out of context, TDC, that'll be going in that document.
I rented a Luton van for a house move.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, vans. This was the most basic van, but it had a tail lift. I
Yeah.
was out here tailgating people. I was out here flashing people.
Bread.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
So good. Anyway, I'm in this van in the fast lane doing the speed limit, actually. It did struggle to the speed limit, but anyway. And I thought,
You're in the what lane?
sorry, I was
Lane 3, please.
I was in lane 3.5.
I was literally in lane 3.
I was in the fast lane where everyone's going faster than everyone else. And I pondered for a second. Because I mean, obviously we have a trailer. You see HGVs on the road, lorries and what such. And they're not allowed in that lane.
Yeah.
I thought, well, if it's not a fast lane, or at least a faster lane, then why aren't they allowed in it?
Yeah.
And if you look it up, the reason for that is because they are slower moving vehicles that can't either react as quickly or whatever.
Yep.
So if all the lanes are the same, why can't everyone use all the lanes?
Yeah.
Surely, starting from the left lane, the slow lane, every lane to the right is a fast lane.
Exactly.
Because the person that's in that lane should be going faster than the person in the lane to the left.
Yeah.
Lane. Again, there's probably some wording highway code where someone goes, actually, if you look at code 1.13, that's actually wrong.
The other thing is I do not understand how any offense can be taken to using the word fast lane. It's a colloquial thing.
Yeah.
If you say fast lane, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the outside lane. It's not an instruction. It's not, if I use the word fast lane, everyone goes, so I can do 100. So I can do 150
It's
there.
not the unlimited lane.
It's not what it means. It just means that's where most people are doing the overtaking and
Yeah.
going around. It's fine
It's
to call it
the furthest. The right-hand lanes are the ones used to overtake. It's the furthest right lane, therefore likely the fastest lane.
Yeah.
And the left-hand lane will be the slowest lane. Therefore, slow lane, fast lane. It all makes sense when you just switch your brain on. It's as simple as that. If you call it lane 4, fine.
Sure, fine.
If
Why
you
not?
call it lane X,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Can you
Are
please
you-
move into lane Y? If
I was
possible?
driving the other day and I got in the egg lane and some idiot in the ham lane, he cut me up. What's going on there?
Just call it whatever you like. It just
Technically, yes, you're correct.
yeah.
There is no
Yeah.
fast
In
and
a
slow.
driving test, I'm failing.
Yeah, but realistically, there is a fast and
Yeah.
slow, and you know there is. Everyone knows that
Yeah.
there is.
You are just a buffoon.
But that is your job, Will, to
That is my job.
educate the people.
I'll remember that when I'm on the road.
Will is a teacher.
I will.
When you pit maneuver someone, you go, "Learn your lesson, did you?"
Teach him to drive.
Right, that's nice. Shall we swiftly move on to the forum? Every week, well, most weeks I should say, we've missed one or two, but most weeks we like to let you guys in the comments who may not be as automotively inclined as we are ask a question without judgment to people who are obsessed and cannot be helped anymore. So Benjamin, you have, I believe, a question or two.
I have a question. I have two questions. One of them is an actual forum question.
It's like a double
The other
header.
one is a question towards me and Will,
Oh,
which
okay.
we're going to answer.
Bro took that personally. Bro said, "All right, one for me then."
No, well, I guess it's sports because you live nearby.
What?
Archie, it will all be revealed.
Okay.
Archie Donovan on Spotify. Forum question: how long do you give a car before you admit you really don't like it? I've just bought an R56 Mini Cooper S, and to be honest, a week in, I'm not really clicking with it. Do I stick it out for longer, or do I just get rid?
A week in, you know. It's
Yeah.
a gut feeling thing.
I don't think I've ever actually had a car I've really disliked.
I I think you know the moment, like within the first 30 seconds of driving.
Yeah.
But after a day or two, I think that's your cutoff.
Yeah.
Like the Crossfire, 30 seconds of driving that thing, I was like, I do not like this car.
Yeah.
And then after a day or two, I was like, no, this is even worse. But the Merc, the first time I drove it, I was a bit like, it's not that great. Like when I drove it, because I drove it a good distance home, I was like, yeah, it's okay, it's a car.
Yeah.
And then after a few days, I was like, you know what? I actually do quite like this. This is he's my guy. So yeah, I think a week, if you're not liking it after a week, I don't know that you're gonna see. It's seasonal though. That's the other thing. You know, if in summer you might decide, actually, this is kind of coming into its own now. But
it depends what your reason is for not liking it.
True,
because it could be it doesn't work. It's very easy to hate something when it doesn't work.
Very fair.
Very, very easy. If it's all functioning perfectly, either you find it boring or you find it something's not right. You don't fit in it. The seats are whatever it is. Normally, I do the absolute most I can before buying the car.
Yeah, fair.
So normally I roughly know that I'm going to like it before. Yeah, which is also a problem because it means you then limit yourself. But almost like I have to know I'm going to like this.
If you're not pulling up on YouTube at 2 a.m. watching some random person POV drive the car that you're looking at, you're not doing it right.
Also, I just don't ever want to be in a situation where I buy a car and then a week or two later I have to sell it. Yeah, and you have to tell the person that buys your car, why are you selling it 2 weeks after buying it? And you go, I just don't like it.
I just hate it.
It's not a good selling point. No. Also, I don't believe you.
I just don't want it anymore.
Yeah, it's rubbish. Do you want
it? No, but you should pay me money for it. That's a good question, though. Yeah, that is a fair point. I would say if you're a week in, you're not liking it, give it another week.
Car you've hated that you've owned?
Personally, my every subsequent MX-5 after my first one.
Fair.
Because my first MX-5, it is special to me. Yeah. It's my it was first ever like project car thing I worked on, and then I bought a silver Mark 2.5, and I was like, it's going to be just like the first one, and all of the veneer of excitement about my first car was gone, and I realized I was sitting in a wobbly, soft, slow piece of shit.
I didn't know where that was going.
They're just horrible. They're horrible to drive. Anyone that says a stock MX-5 is good to drive, you've not driven a good car. Just go and drive anything else and you'll realise it's not.
That was also a really good argument when we met Matt, who helped us out with the coolant pipes. There was just, I spoke to Jay about this behind. I said, can you film this, please? Because you were walking off into the distance and it was just, what? But they are good cars. They're just not, though, are they? They're just shit cars. And he's going, yeah, but what about this one? No, that's shit. So I said, it is inevitable. It is somehow inevitable that when that conversation comes up, there is an argument.
There's always an argument. Yeah. MX-5 people, they like to throw hands the moment. It's the best car in the world.
So any MX-5?
Any MX-5. Yeah. No, it was just I was excited and I drove it and I went, this isn't it. This wasn't what it was cracked up to be.
This ain't it, Chief.
I looked at my one and went, you're still special to me, I guess.
You're the first.
And yours? Surely you've had some because you don't have like an emotional attachment to cars.
Try not to.
Which is smart.
I do very briefly,
but that's smart because then you see cars for what they are.
Yeah, I do very briefly, and then as soon as I've lost interest, you can go. E46.
Your cab. Yeah.
Not that there was nothing really wrong with it. I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
I think I only had it for 6 months, but it was like a month in. It started badly because I had to fix loads of bits, but nothing awful. And then, but even when it was all done, I was like, I just don't like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was.
What about your 7 Series?
Which one?
Your E38. Because that was not a U car.
No, it didn't feel like me.
But you liked it.
But I did like it.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't like it because it wasn't nice. If you know what I mean.
It wasn't a nice example.
And I kept looking at it, going, "This is going to cost thousands," and that car wasn't necessarily worth. Putting that much money into. You could just go and buy a nicer one.
Yeah.
So I liked it, but it was good for it did a job for a while, and it was nice to own. But yeah, definitely 46 cab was
Benjamin
whack.
Car I've owned that I don't like.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
Renault Clio 182,
A3,
BMW.
It's A3.
Is it the A3?
Yeah, it's just a car.
Now, how much of that was affected by the reaction when you bought it from us?
So it didn't help. Yeah. No, I think it's just not a good car.
Okay.
It served the purpose as a car. If my nan drove it, she'd probably like it.
She'd go, this is shit. She'd go, I paid £5,000.
She'd go, why don't you buy a 2-litre diesel, you idiot?
No, it just wasn't. It's just a car.
You're not Ben the car reviewer.
Yeah.
So coming into this, it's a car.
The A3 is your villain origin
Yeah.
story.
Do you know what?
Actually
It's like inside I liked it. It was nice, relatively comfortable. It
Christmas tree lights on the dash.
just drove very briefly. It had that for about 4 months. Just had no redeeming features. Do you know what it was mediocre in every sense.
It
was quite nice looking, but it didn't look that nice. It drove quite nicely, but there are hatchbacks that are normal that drive better. The engine was like reliable, but it wasn't reliable enough to like be worth being slow.
It was just, you know,
It's just car.
it's just a car.
It's just a car, and it wasn't worth $5,000.
He says reluctantly.
And doesn't my bank account know about it?
Right, so that is one question answered. What is your double feature?
Double feature. It's not really. It's from a man with a fantastic name.
Here we go.
This is Hector Lopez Valido.
I know.
I like
that. I know who that is. Anyway,
You know
Great.
him.
How do you know?
I spoke to him on the phone many years ago. He just started doing Instagram stuff. He used to do like social media stuff, and he called anyway.
Would love to hear what you guys do whilst on your long commutes. It's crazy how far Will and Ben drive to work every day. What do you actually do to keep you entertained whilst driving?
I learned German on mine. It's a big...
I
Well,
actually write novels.
Well, Will's actually recently left the gang, and now he lives nearby.
Nice.
So
Well, he doesn't, because he doesn't live anywhere.
Yeah, I'm actually
Homeless.
I am homeless. Anyone got a house or anyone know anything about anything, let me know.
But
Okay.
Will's no longer doing it. But when you were doing it, and to be fair, you were doing it every single day.
Yep.
So that's tough.
So, okay, so let's set it up. I'm not in this conversation. My commute is 35 to 40
Although you
minutes.
have driven long distances.
Yeah.
Although maybe
Oh,
not, maybe not over an extended period, but
No, I just tend to do... Like, I'll do big trips.
old people down the stairs.
Very nice.
Anyway, what would you...
On a long trip, I need... Well, hold on. I think you guys should guess what you guys do on
Okay.
each other's trip first.
Okay.
Will's quite happy with that
Can
one.
I guess Will's first?
Okay, go. Yeah.
Will likes to scream and shout at other road users, and that keeps him entertained.
Now, I've got a point on this. I think road rage depends on the car you drive.
That's so fair.
I don't feel, if I'm in the Clio, which this is not often, if I'm in a smaller car, I suddenly feel angry.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being wronged by everyone.
I
Whereas if I'm in the
agree.
Range Rover, I can get angry.
Yeah.
But even though I'm in a $4,000 Range Rover, but I still think, you know what?
You're like-
I'm actually pretty calm.
Get out of my... I don't care.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Just move.
Just get out of my way.
Yeah.
I'm not that bothered by
Pulling
the
up on a
situation.
Rolls Royce. I'm better than you.
It's only when you see someone in a better Range Rover that you start to get angry. But that I believe. But I'm actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so
with
you're
that.
not... So, okay, what else is Will doing to pass the time? Every day.
Every single day.
So it's an hour 45 commute, basically both of
Where
you were doing.
were you, and how long did it take, roughly?
Is this the police?
For context for the
On a
viewers.
So I was
going
made on
from
the 15th of
Northampton
January.
to like roughly Reading. I think it was about 170, 180 mile round trip.
A day.
And how long did that take?
4 to 5 hours.
I think you're listening to audiobooks.
No.
Now what sort of
They're
audio book?
self-help books.
Oh, I like
because
that.
our
Okay.
job is quite full on. I think you need a little bit of that time to
Okay.
yourself.
It's
Okay.
not one of those...
Anything else?
Heavy metal to get your anger out.
Okay.
And I think you're trying out different motorway service stations and seeing what food they have.
I think you don't even know me at all. It's just all wrong. I can't stand services. I try my very best to avoid a service.
Okay, no, hold on. Before you reply, can we get what's
Oh, yeah,
Ben's?
Ben. What
Ben
Ben
Okay,
said.
so
What's
for,
Ben
for
doing?
context, I'm Bristol area to Reading. It takes me lovely 2 hours 50 in the morning, about an hour and 50 on the way home. The
Cool.
traffic and what such.
Okay, because
200 mile round
the
trip.
wind's got you the other way.
More traffic, but yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Okay, you are.
Now, what's
Now,
safe to say on the podcast?
I've seen your car. Yeah, fair. I've seen your car, and it is full of shit.
It's also...
so you love a service station,
It's very lopsided.
and/or
Very
I think what you're doing is bouncing down the motorway. So your car's full of shit.
What do you mean by shit?
Your footwell, Ben's
Well,
footwells.
yeah, your car is... It's
Thing is, your car is clean, but you just throw things into the footwell.
If
Yeah.
I finish like a can of Coke, what am I doing with a can of Coke?
I feel like it's not
Well,
even things
door
you've had in the
pockets.
car. It's like you've had it in the house and you bring it to the car to throw it in the footwell.
Throwing it at like other road users? What
Well,
do you do with
other
yours?
people, you just go, do you want to throw that away? Yeah, just chuck it down there.
He's got dirty plates and things in there that he's brought in from the house.
Steve, it has been-
Just a wet towel.
It's been an issue the
There was a
entire
sock.
time I've been driving in every car I've had.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that I like eat excessive food or drink excessive drinks in the car and then leave the rubbish in the car. It's that I just don't empty it on enough.
Okay.
So
So you're
So you like a service station?
no,
Right. You're
that's not true because you would update us in the morning.
you can't. Not on the
What
podcast.
do you mean we
Not on
can't,
the
Ben?
podcast.
Not on the podcast.
Ben likes to go to the
this
toilet. Ben likes to take his morning dump in a very
in
particular
Lee Delamere.
Where I like to go.
Oh wait, which one is it?
It is Lee
E-
Delamere.
it's
So
Lee
Lee
Delamere.
Delamere westbound, no eastbound.
Yeah,
Find me in there about 7:30.
So you're in the
sometimes.
services. You've
or
done
Cheveley back in the day.
the.
It's off the motorway though. It's not convenient. If you've had a curry night before, you've got to come off the motorway.
You've left a deposit in the services.
Not always, not
Yeah.
anymore, but used
Not
to.
anymore,
Yeah.
but then also you will also buy something from said services.
Depends how much time I've got.
A little snack and a drink.
Oh,
It's moderately healthy.
Oh, interesting. What am I
It's got
buying?
vitamins in it. Perhaps it's like how you say it's some kind of fruit based item or
I
like a
could hear that.
fiber protein
granola
based
bar,
item,
perhaps.
something like that. Yeah, it's like start my day.
Actually, is.
Do you know what your journey? You try to be as gleeful as possible.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
so
it's
you
quite
try to
accurate.
keep the journey happy.
Yep.
The music is very jolly.
Mhm.
Is it not?
It's not. I like to podcast quite big in the car
Oh,
and make phone calls
interesting.
as well.
Are you listening to the Cream podcast, the most successful podcast in the world?
Sometimes I
don't know
do
if that's
actually.
correct.
Sometimes when we get sent the draft edit for the Cream thing, I listen to that.
Wow,
'cause-
Ben listens to his own podcast.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Just so I can make notes.
Crazy. That's what makes him shit.
Wow.
So you're a podcaster.
On,
I'm
I,
gonna guess
I like
that you're a podcaster.
I like to podcast on the way
Um,
here and then music on the way home.
Ben, the type
Okay.
of guy to be on a podcast right now.
Just so I have something to listen to in the car.
I reckon you sing.
Oh,
Oh, that's quite tough to hear.
that's tough.
You're a big singer.
No.
Only morning singer, and only if you're feeling sort of
Hold
moderately,
on. Now,
50% plus happy.
Ben, open your soul. Be completely honest.
Okay.
Natasha Bedingfield's on. Are you singing or are you not? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, but that's my song, man. Am I getting hyped up before a big day?
So you're a singer.
No, not always, but
No, I reckon
No.
you are on the motorway. You are. You're a sunroof open.
Oh, that's interesting.
I've only had the car since winter, so I haven't had the opportunity to do that.
Okay. I think windows down motorway people are slightly odd.
It is
Yeah.
interesting because
It's
you're at
just like
such speed.
blustery.
Yeah, you're at such
Yeah.
speed that it's not.
Yeah.
It can't run.
It's a big hair ruiner. Of
Yeah.
all sorts.
Yeah, so
So okay.
still
Okay.
quite accurate,
So
unfortunately.
in reality, can we get what's your reality, Ben? What are
reality is
you, 140 down the fast lane. Sorry, the third lane.
100 more than that at least. No, it's realistically. I like to listen to a little podcast on the way here.
Okay.
Because it's 2 hours here, I can usually get a whole one done.
What are
Before.
you listening to?
That's the secret I'll keep between myself.
Ooh.
It depends
It's the
on
Auto
the day.
Alex podcast.
It actually depends on
It's
what.
Natasha Bedingfield. He calls it a podcast. It's not.
It's on
It's a
loop.
great song.
These.
That's what we listen to when we're in the car. Anyway, yeah, a little podcast on the way here. On the way back, I make and some phone calls. On the way home, I make some phone calls. And
Sorry, we got day trader Ben. Yeah, go for Ben. Yeah, the Nasdaq's looking bad today. Let's get some.
I was
Tom.
saying this to them earlier. I've recently been upgrading my car, which is that my Apple CarPlay screen is an aftermarket Chinese one. It's very bad for like hands free. So I've recently been putting a pair of AirPods in my car. Please don't break into my car and nick them. Well, I have one in my ear when I'm driving, which I don't know if it's illegal or not sometimes. But if I'm on the phone, it's a game changer. But I do feel like I'm like trading. Like I'm like, go for bed. Yep.
Yeah. So, I think what we'll do is we'll get the airbag on the back right of the X5 fixed. Yeah.
Are you off sick today? Oh, could you come in? She's dead. Okay, see you this afternoon. Okay. All right, AirPods in, podcast on.
And then, yeah, occasionally off phone call. And then that on the way home, it's the same thing with music.
And you're on the cruise?
Same thing.
Oh, I'm on
but
the- I'm on
music.
the-
You're on the cruise? You're always on the cruise. There are people out there that have cruise. I know this is a big thing. This isn't like a few people. Lots of people have cruise and they don't use it. What? You're not on cruise?
Not most of the time.
That's mental.
I would say I only use it like 25% of the time.
That's insane.
That's wild.
Average speed checks.
The
And
moment.
sometimes if I'd like to cruise at 70.
Yeah, but there is a difference
Which I always
between
do.
drive. Yeah, but okay, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. If you're trying to get through traffic,
I ain't using cruise.
then I can kind of understand. But I'd say most of the time I'm on cruise.
Yeah,
I'm driving
yeah.
with the cruise. I'm using the buttons to accelerate and slow down.
I quite like that.
I love
quite like
that.
That's why I would like a radar cruise.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's when
Set
I,
it
that's
to-
when because then I'm just not driving.
Set it to
you know.
200.
Feet
Off you
up.
go.
I think I'll have a cigar.
Okay, now Will, what's your?
It's mixed. I don't listen to podcasts at all, ever. I've tried. Every now and then I might listen to something not car related, something random. I might listen to a podcast every sort of bi-monthly.
Now I have to hold you here because the reason I didn't want to talk about my stuff yet is because both of you have admitted to driving without anything sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that I cannot understand.
No,
you're just driving in silence.
It's great.
No, it's not in silence though.
What do you
have
mean?
your own thought.
I have the crushing weight in my own thoughts.
You know what it is crazy. It's like being on the toilet, and you can just be there. Like, have you ever been on the toilet for a 2 without your phone?
Yeah,
All the time. Thoughts that you get.
Yeah, but that's not
shower thoughts, poo thoughts, and then motorway silence thoughts.
Nah, motorway silence thoughts is not that because it's just dull. It's monotony. Whereas a toilet is some me time. It's to yourself.
I get frustrated. So I like to be in silence on the motorway, and I think about things that you can't do anything about it because you're driving. It just makes you drive faster, so you can get to a place to stop. Sometimes I think about stopping at services so I can like write things down or do something, and then continue. But then I don't want to do that because
it's a cry for help.
Because then it delays my journey.
So have you any idea where I stopped you today? Man, I'm just been thinking.
Also,
I just got these thoughts.
I got these thoughts, and I gotta get to my
So
destination.
you're doing 130 mile an hour.
Also, you're telling me that
I'll
your thoughts are so crushing in your mind that they make you want to drive faster. That's worrying.
No, it's not. It's not that they make me want to drive faster like that. It's that I need to.
You're a creative thinker.
I have to keep them in my head. Otherwise, I know by the end of my journey, someone will say anything, and they're done. They're gone. I've got to wait till the next motorway journey.
He's always chasing the last one.
It's either that or I'm just blaring apps, like blaring music.
That's what I'm at.
Loud.
That's where I'm at.
That's fantastic.
I'm the volume's up.
I'm a big sound system enjoyer.
Yeah, I wish I had a good sound system. It makes me want to get
that. Makes everything better.
Yeah. I'm the guy next to you at the lights where you can just hear
crazy.
That's me.
Can't. That's my biggest pet peeve. If I'm in the car and I'm playing music relatively loudly, and when I get to lights, I got to turn it down.
That's so Ben.
I can't. Every time.
The neighbours will notice.
And my girlfriend always says to me, because we're in the car listening to something, and then I get to the lights, and all you hear is it just get quieter and quieter. You look over and just spamming the steering wheel. I can't be seen to be just there. Also, how can you sit there with a straight face when there's someone next to you, just like this, listening with your hands on the steering wheel, listening to
one hand on the steering wheel, then.
One on the steering wheel, listening to just.
That was the least natural thing I've ever seen.
Just listening to your banging tunes.
Yeah, because I'm in my car.
Yeah, it's my car. Don't care.
No, I don't do that.
You know, I would never do it with my windows down. I'm not blasting the music as loud.
Also, you're ruining the noise.
What?
Windows up, you're containing the noise.
Oh wow. You're literally moving in the noise.
I had to raw dog the journey in the Corsa. The Corsa doesn't have a radio.
Yeah, that I can't stand. That the Starlet had disconnected to my phone. I couldn't work out how to do it. I looked up an instruction manual before we left, so I could get music.
Because it is better with music.
All of yesterday when we were driving, I had 90s drum and bass and like 90s club tunes on because I was like, this fits.
Get in the mood.
Also, here's a question. We're getting long in the tooth on this question. Do you match songs or whatever you're listening to vibe of what you're driving or doing?
Depends. In the Range Rover, I reckon I can listen to pretty much anything.
That's fair.
I'm pretty good with that. When I had that E38 before, it was
hip-hop.
Mostly 90s hip hop.
See, that to me is one of the most beautiful automotive things ever.
Yeah.
That a sound can match the car.
Yeah.
I've talked about it before, but my 8 Series, I'm listening to Kavinsky. I'm pulling up with that synth 80s because it is, everything was perfect down to the last detail.
Although, bone to pick here. This isn't to do with commuting. This is just driving. You listen to music when driving.
Well, that's... Sometimes I will turn it off.
To elaborate on that, what I mean is going for a blast.
Well, I mean,
little B-road bash
the name of
something.
the name of the playlist is "Oh, we driving,
driving."
Yeah, I will sometimes. Yeah,
see, that I can't do
because of games. But here's another one. This is a shocking revelation. Will turns off the sound in car games.
Get rid of it.
It is mental. There are so many good.
My exhaust is enough, actually.
There are so many good songs from game, like also songs that I wouldn't usually listen to. They might even stray into like metal.
Would you listen to music on a track day?
No, because I'm trying to be aware.
I think that could be psychotic.
I don't want to crash into someone else because I had it behind me. I'm like,
I want to see what happens if you like just play music into an F1 driver. Do they get faster?
They go,
or
get off my radio.
Natasha Bedingfield.
Bed on the F1 track. I love you.
What's the
Feel the
fastest
rain.
music to listen to? The fastest. Surely it's got to be some kind of rock or something. Or drum and bass.
I think drum and
Drum
bass
and bass
actually
might
has
be
to be
up
it.
there, yeah.
Because like heavy metal is too distracting.
Yeah.
Whereas drum and bass just going dum ba dum dum. That's sick.
After a while, it becomes quite overwhelming if I'm going for a little blast and it's too much to think about.
And you've got Natasha Bedingfield. Have you ever gone for a hoon and listened to Natasha Bedingfield?
Thank you so much for watching the cars. Just for the record, I'm not a Natasha Bedingfield fan. I like that one song.
Sorry, you're not. Of course
Unwritten, the greatest song ever written.
Ben,
ironically,
you are. Ben, you're a fan.
Ben's a big
I
singer.
don't. Listen, I wouldn't recognize her in the street. Probably.
It's just not true.
Our batteries are getting low on our camera, so we're going to wrap up this podcast pretty soon. But before we end, we have to end on a conspiracy because we love them and we've got a few. Will?
Now, conspiracy. I have a conspiracy, not a car conspiracy, but a highways agency one. Now, I did say specifically cars, but anyway. The reason there are always roadworks and nobody doing any work is because at some point the highways agency had a graduate or something doing an order for the cones and they accidentally added too many zeros to the order. So now they constantly have to put the cones. So now they constantly have to put the cones out somewhere. Otherwise, they will have to pay for storage and they don't want that. So they just put the cones out on the road for free.
Wow. I kind of hear.
The kind of balls up I could imagine happening.
Yeah, in England, and then for someone not to go return them, they go, oh, I've got an idea.
Could just put them on the M4.
Stick them out. Meanwhile, every warehouse in the UK is
We'll put them out, and then tomorrow we'll go and get them.
yeah. Bring them in, boys. They've been out long enough.
And then put them somewhere else.
I'm going to call that. I mean, it's not real.
It's not real,
But also,
but could
say
be
plausible.
But possibly only in England.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's an English conspiracy.
Yeah.
I've always wondered where the cones are kept. Like there's so many of them. Whenever that goes merging in 800 yards, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and it goes all those cones. The only thing I think about is where all these cones come from.
You know they're
They're
free.
in that lorry.
You can take them.
Yeah, every uni student has one. It's very original.
That's where they get them.
Yeah,
They make them in the lorry where there's a man standing on the side.
Yeah.
It's just creative.
It's going in that.
But where are the cones being stored?
No, they don't.
Do they dissolve in the
eats
rain?
It eats it afterwards. When they collect it, they put it back in. It gets mulched,
That's actually a great idea.
and they just make a new cone.
That's £1 million
There's
idea.
just cone juice in the truck, and it crafts it because a cone. That's easy.
Yeah. It's just a little shape.
Yeah.
Just a little triangle.
It's like a Mr. Whippy, like a waffle cone.
I don't know
Upside
what to say
down,
to that.
I'm going to call that plausible.
Yeah, deal.
And we're going to wrap it up. But thank you very much for listening to the Cars Rule Everything Around Me podcast. Make sure you drop your forum questions and your conspiracies in the comments. We will see you next week. Cars Rule Everything Around Me. Dream, get the money.